Retro. Retro.
G'day everyone, welcome back to the late afternoon glass off. We're back.
We're back.
For week 3. We've made it here.
I didn't even think we'd get this far.
We've gotten further than we thought. I'm Finn, as always. I'm joined here by Zach.
Hello.
Zach, what's been going on? Talk to me.
What's been going on? Well, Finley, we finally have waves to surf. I feel like it's been an eternity since we've had any sort of substance in the swell department.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't remember. Well, obviously we had those really big swells last winter. Mm-hmm. Some of the best we've ever seen around here. Since then, it's been fucking grim.
It almost felt like we were paying a bit of a karma debt for that swell we had. It was like, it was too good. And then the universe just went, nah, you can shove it. We're giving you sort of 6 to 8 months of some of the worst waves you've ever seen, and you're going to have to deal with it. But kind of broke that curse in the last week or so. It
showed signs. It wasn't as good as that, but beggars can't be choosers, and we are begging at this point. And you know the worst part was, I've been speaking to some crew down in Bells. Crew have been in southwest WA. Yeah. Everyone's in the same boat here. It's just been a bit of a shocker, but hey, looks like we've kind of broken the curse, which is good. Been surfing a lot, which is good. But the problem with that and having a big break in swell is the crowd gets hungry.
It's been nuts, eh?
And it's been very, very crowded, but you kind of have to anticipate that.
Well, look, we're pretty lucky around here. We got a good bunch of options to surf. We've got one of the more recognisable right-hand points in the world, which sort of did come to life in the last week. And then when that's not going, there's a handful of good beaches too that are always options. A couple of sneaky ones that we surf during the week that oftentimes we actually miss ourselves. But yeah, no, it was good. Got some new boards, so it was nice to try them out. Also did one of the great butcheries of a spray.
Yeah, we're looking at it here, and he's recovered, 3 different sprays.
Yeah, look, you get new boards, and you think it's a good idea to do sprays on them. You're like, yeah, you know what, I'm pretty good at art. I'll figure something out. I did 3 attempts on that board to the point where I removed the second attempt, and I had to spray it again because the board was dyed black. And it was just not okay. So
it's like ink from a squid.
Yeah, look, I can only apologise. Darren, Hanley and Shuey at Glassing Division, your amazing work has been tainted by me slightly, but I'm sure the board's going to go well still. So look, it's a little round tail. Hopefully we can get a bit more of a run of swell, and it looks like there's some waves coming, so I reckon I'll be pulling it out. And then had another little Juliet there too, which is feeling pretty good.
They are fucking sensational boards.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a theory with board sprays though.
Yeah. Hit me.
The more time and effort you put into a board spray, it reduces the longevity of it.
100%.
I remember I got 3 boards, and I actually didn't do the sprays, but I got Mackie Walker to do it. He's really good on the Posca pens. And so I got 3 boards, all different colours, all different designs, and I picked the favourite one, and I surfed Lennox Pub out of all places.
Yeah.
And it was nothing against the board. They were cured, they were good. Nothing against, whoever made it. It was more just bad timing.
Yeah.
I think it was air, and when you're landing and the wave...
It's like reverb and you land on top of it.
I just met it in the middle and it snapped, and it's like... I think ever since then, like a plain, fresh white board is like, they just don't break.
Well, I sprayed one of them and I left the other one white, and it's already my favourite based on that. Like the one that I didn't spray.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I'll take a photo of it and I'll put it in the clip as well for you guys watching on YouTube. Just touching back on that, you snapped the board at Lennox Pub. For those that don't know, Lennox Pub is notoriously, it's almost like a learner wave. It's pretty much like, it's a reform, breaks out the back, rolls in, and then it turns into like a kind of fun little fat left and right. So you've done well to snap a board there. You're probably in rarefied air there. I don't think there's too many crew that have snapped a board at Lennox Pub.
I might put that in my Instagram bio a bit later.
Might be worth it. But anyway, we've got some more important topics to touch on. Most notably, the WSL Awards night. Now, Zach, you've been doing some trawling on Instagram, and you've come up with a couple of theories, couple of sort of just dot points on some of the guests and professional surfers at that event last night.
I couldn't really understand what the theme was. I
Yes.
feel like WSL might have to put out like a little email blast saying, guys, this is the theme. Because we had casual,
Yeah.
we had very formal,
Yeah.
John Florence,
Yes.
Kanoa, looking like they were about to go to the red carpet themselves.
Yep.
I guess it is surfing's red carpet, but
Yep.
it's like a Temu version of that. We also had 007 there.
We
In the
did.
form of Leonardo Fioravanti.
He was looking fly. He was
He
looking
was
good.
looking pretty fly.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what his watch was, but fuck, it looked expensive.
Yeah.
He's probably got something.
That wasn't a Rip Curl Tide watch, was it?
No, not a Vestal one, nothing. Look, not even a Garmin.
No.
That looked fucking like you found it in some Paris Fashion Week or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is kind of his deal now.
He is.
He is kind of that look. So
He's Mr.
good on him.
Gucci.
Yeah, I love that he's black on black. If anyone listening knows me, my wardrobe is black and black. Yeah. Groggy looks really good.
Groggy looked like he'd just been to the Pacific Fair Tarot Cash, and he'd gone in with his little paycheck, and
I love that he's trying.
he's tried really hard. And look, he looks all right, but like you look at Kanoa, and then you look at the grog, and you're just like, come on, bro.
Okay.
You're on the WSL Bicky now. Like, step it up. You're getting some cash. Let's go.
Yeah, get out of TK Maxx. No, I'm kidding. You know who the grog look like?
Tell me.
So you've got real estate agents, right? And you go to a house showing, like an open house.
Yep.
And like the A-grade real estate agents inside. And then they put their apprentice at the door. He looked like at the door version of a real estate
The guy that
showing.
hands out the flyers. At the
Hi, what's your number?
Yeah.
That guy. So like still good, still in the real estate game
Yeah.
look, but not
He's
quite
the-
inside giving out the brochures and talking the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
He's in the conversation.
Can we sign you up to the email list type of guy?
Yeah, he's trying to get everyone's emails and whatnot, and he's the guy trying to get an extra 100,000 out of you at the end. Who else was on there?
We had Ramzo as well. Ramsey had the Gucci shades on, I noticed. He's looking pretty good. He did look like... I saw Ronnie Blakey comment on one of the Instagram posts, and he made a good comment, actually. It was that he looked like he'd forgotten his jacket on the bus. So he looked like he got out of the bus or the car after a big day at the races.
Yeah.
Won a lot of money, lost a lot of money. I don't know what he'd done.
He looked
but
like an 11 p.m. races guy.
yeah, it looked like he just completely neglected his jacket and he'd left it on his motor transport that he came there with. So, but look, you got Gucci shades on, so that saves it.
We had Ethan looking pretty meat and potatoes, which I
He's a meat and
wouldn't
potato.
expect.
He's a meat and potatoes guy. What do you expect?
It's not good nor bad.
No.
So it's kind of safe. That's why I wear black on black. It's not good nor bad.
For sure. And sort of what's not good, not bad as well is the pipe forecast. Now we've touched on it. We touched on it last week a couple of times. We actually to the point where I had to come in and do a second recording to update the pipe forecast. Sure enough, it's changed again. So yeah, haven't really adjusted the fantasy teams too much. Kelly Slater got a wild card, which I threw him straight in because he's my guy. I'm picking him for a big result. Not that he needs it.
I think he needs it.
Why?
I think he needs it, and then just to go righto for the 15th time, bon voyage.
I'm gone. Yeah, this is
Almost like a...
my 17th retirement announcement.
know,
He's fully gone now. So this is just a wild card. Thank you for your services over the years. He'll have this wild card for as long as he wants it. They will just keep giving it to him.
But then he'll just sponsor another event without an owner and be like, hey, I'm back. And everyone's going to be like, is he going to be the guy that's like the... What's his name on the QS? Texera?
Rafael Texera.
Like it's just... Everyone's like, oh yeah, next year. And he just goes, yep, I'm back.
I'm back.
I feel like that could be him, and I don't back it.
He's earned it. He's my favourite surfer of all time.
Great.
He's very good. I love him. He's going to be in this event for probably the next 10 years. No one's going to say anything because he deserves to be there. He's probably, I don't know, he could very well in the next few years rack up another sort of quarter plus finish, you know? Like,
Oh,
would it surprise you to see him win another event there?
he's probably going to switch
He,
when he's 70.
he can do whatever he wants.
He can.
So yeah, he's in the event, and then our good old pal John. So
What is going on here, Finley?
after taking a few months off after winning his title, he had you'd think ample time to think about what he was going to do,
I feel like because it came out the same time as Steph, WSL said, you guys have got 12 hours.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gone.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
they've gone, oh shit, yeah, that email in my inbox from WSL. Who are those people again? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure who that is. So
No,
I think that's how that come about.
I feel like they, as surfers tend to do, you just sort of leave it to the last minute and
Correct.
just do whatever you want to do. He took however many months that was, a long time to make the call, said I'm not competing, and then went, actually, you know what, I'm actually going to do the event. So he's another one. He's another Kelly. You give him any spot into that event he wants because he's probably the best guy out there now, you'd have to say. It's gone from sort of Jamie O'Brien, he had his sort of reign of terror out there, and then Kelly Slater as well, he's always in the mix. But it's now like John's head and shoulders now. You'd imagine he's the guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he is. But in saying that, there's young crew coming
There is.
already.
Well, Baron Mamiya is one of them.
Baron, and I even think crew that aren't from there. I think that whole Hawaiian domination is slowly coming to an end.
Yeah. Yeah, for
It'll
sure.
still be there, but not so much if you go back 10 years. It's like your fantasy team is all Hawaiian.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Everyone's so well versed out there now because you've, from age sort of 14, you know this as well through Billabong, you're sending your team over there each year to go and get their reps in out at Pipe, go and learn how to surf the waves over there, Sunset too. Not that that's as much of a factor anymore.
Thank God.
Which, yeah, we, again...
Waste of time, in my opinion, but anyway,
yeah,
won't go there.
Don't love that event. But the big brands, they send their teams there to go and get experience because it's so vital.
You can't dodge it.
No, you can't. Like it used to be the last event. It's now the first event. So you qualify, you're getting thrown straight out to the wolves at Pipe.
Yeah.
And you've got to put in a good showing. So, from like sort of age, what is it, 12, 14, they start sending them?
Oh, it's, yeah. Pretty much 12 to 16, really.
Yeah.
But in saying that, even if the sponsor's not providing, they're going there anyway.
They're going there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So there's a heap of young crew coming through, and like I say, most of them now, they're not afraid. Like we touched on it previously. Like a few of the Brazilians, they don't really have the biggest name out at Pipeline. Obviously, some of them have a really good name. You Gabby Medinas of the world, they're some of the best surfers to ever do it out there. But just coming through now, you've got this big just spectrum of crew that from all different parts of the world, and they all have a crack. So it's
I think that was inevitable. It was always going to happen.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is, it doesn't. To circle back. When you go over and you say you're going to get your reps in, you're actually not getting your reps in.
How many waves are you catching? You've been
fuck
there.
all.
Yeah.
It's fucked. It
Yeah.
is the most. I'm just going to say it how it is. It's almost unsurfable.
Yep.
And there is times you've almost got to be smart about it, where you're looking for the window between the offshore and the onshore, and people feel the puff and go, fuck it, I'm going in. That's when you've got to go out and just cop it.
Yeah.
You've got to go out in the less desirable conditions, in my opinion, if you really want to maximize it, because there's literally 10 or less guys that are getting the best.
Yep.
It's your Jamies, the Florence brothers, a bunch of the older crew. I don't even know if Kaimana still surfs it, but I'm guessing that kind of core old dudes that just really lock that joint down.
Yeah.
If you're not in there, then you're literally spectating.
It's not rare for crew to paddle out and you end up just going straight on one and coming in.
Yep.
And you can be out there for 3+ hours.
When I surfed it a fair few years ago, I got 4 waves in 4 hours, and 3 of them were like take off, pull off.
Yeah.
Mid-sized waves.
Yes.
I got called into one. It was a really good one. Bit of a funny story. Don't want to talk about me for too long.
No,
but
give it to us. Talk to us.
really fun day. I actually got it on film. I might insert the clip here after. But there was this guy, and I was sitting there, didn't know anyone. Went on a family holiday at this point. March, so pretty late in the season. Sitting there, I'm 4 hours in.
Yeah.
Dad's probably going, fuck, I'm over it. It was good for the first half an hour, but now it's kind of dwindling now. He's just been bobbing out there.
Yeah.
I was sitting there in the pack, and I was like, I'm going to go in, so I'm going to give my last wave a bit of a shot.
Have a go.
Guy next to me, I look at him, he's probably like 30, 40, and his eyes are bloodshot red. He was so stoned, but he's so nice.
Yeah.
Just your typical, like, I'm in Hawaii to just finish my life.
Yeah, sure.
And he was like, Graham, you're going this one. And I looked at it and I was like, I'm not even in position. But my dad told me one thing. He goes, mate, if anyone calls you into one, you just go. Don't think about it, because if you pull back, the ramifications are much greater.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get another wave.
That's it.
Yeah.
Your name is tarnished.
Yeah.
Dunsky.
Yeah.
So I looked, and then what happened was people heard that and went, go, Grom. And I was going, oh, no. I almost felt like going, hey, guys, it's all good.
No, you
Like,
go.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah.
And then about 3 or 4 people, and look, it wasn't the biggest wave or the best wave, but it was just like, for me back then, a pretty good wave.
Well, I feel like as well, if you're at pipe, you're probably scared anyway. So any wave
Shit, yeah.
is intimidating.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I swing, and everyone's kind of going, oh, yeah, Grom's going, sick. Take off, and piked it, nosedive, got flogged, and in the clip you can see the second wave and the third one behind it. And I got so smoked that when I come in, I got washed in, like, went up the beach, went in after that. The lifeguards, like, came out, like, walked down the beach. Obviously not to rescue me, but,
Yeah,
like,
just check on
Grom, you're good. And thinking about the second wave, I started crying. So, but back to my story. Look, you can paddle out, and you can be even pro surfers. Like, I spoke to Connor about it, and I go, "Did you get a couple?" And he just goes, "Fuck no! Like, it's just impossible."
Yeah.
I famously read where Anthony Walsh
Yes.
just left that area and just goes, "The joint's a circus." He was there for like 12 years or something like that.
And he's like a heavy out there. Like
He is a
he's
heavyweight.
Australian, but he's almost like he's a Hawaiian. The amount
He's
of waves
earned
he
his
gets.
stripes there.
For sure.
So he wasn't a blow-in, maybe at first, but definitely not now. So for him to come out and go, "Fuck this joint, I'm out,"
Yeah.
is really telling how hard it is to
Yeah.
get waves there. So
Yeah, well, it's not going to be like that. Like it's in terms of waves that you copped on your head. We'll show that clip. It was pretty intimidating, even just
I'll have
watching
to
it.
dust it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pull out the bloody VHS tape
Yeah.
and plug that in somewhere. But we'll chuck that in. Pipe's not going to look like that this year, so you don't have to worry about
No,
that.
it will look like when I was surfing it, for sure, because it wasn't that big.
Oh right, yeah, sure.
It was maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 foot or something.
Dude, it was
like
solid. It was solid. He's been
that.
great.
You guys tell me.
Yeah, it was solid.
Can we just talk quickly?
Yeah.
What's the whole jazz with calling waves 6 foot Hawaiian and backs and fronts? What the fuck are they doing over there? They must come to Australia and just go, these guys are so fucking simple. They just say one number.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's like our numbers are so like varied. It's like 1 foot is literally like, in my opinion, like chest down.
Yeah.
3 foot can be like double overhead.
Yeah.
And then 6 to 8 foot, it's like, oh yeah, it's pretty big. And then anything bigger than 6 to 8 foot, you just call big.
Yeah. Just
We must just be simpletons here. I'm not sure, but what are they doing over there?
they're
going,
just too.
oh, it's 8 foot backs, 15 front. It's like, I'm not very good at numbers. And I'm going, how big is that?
Well, they have their very own like metric of measuring waves, and it, like you touched on, it's considerably reduced on what we know. Like we'd go over there, and you'd talk to someone and be like, oh, it's 4 foot Hawaiian, and you'd go, sick, I'm all over that. And then you get there, and it's not 4 foot, is it? It's
Next time they say, I'm just going to go, sorry, can I get that in English?
Yeah,
I
well,
don't understand what you're talking
it's 6 to 8 foot is what it means, because they're all units over there. And
about. Are they saying foot or feet?
I don't know.
Is it the same thing?
It's the same thing.
Any Hawaiians out there, can you fucking switch over to the metric system on behalf of everyone else? Make it easy for us. Speaking of,
Yes.
they are listening
Why is that?
because we have been listened to in 10 countries.
True.
I was gobsmacked.
Philippines?
Philippines, Vanuatu,
Russia?
Russia. I don't know what they're doing with us. They're definitely like dubbing our voices and saying we're talking about
It's Putin.
something fucking weird. I'm not
Vladimir
sure.
Putin. He's watching.
He's we're
worried.
in the UK. I think it was like, what, 10%? No,
Uh,
5% or something.
It was. I think it was our second biggest demographic, but
And the US is there.
it's catching on slowly.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. No, US was actually our second biggest.
Yeah,
demographic
then
after that.
the UK. So
But,
thanks, guys. I
yeah.
didn't think we'd get there, but trying to see if we can branch out even further, maybe
Yep.
into where do we want to get into?
It'd be pretty crazy, and I don't even know if this is possible, if we could tap into the Antarctic market. I don't know how many people are down there, whether it's recognised
Yeah,
as there's a couple.
Yeah,
That'd
little
be pretty,
scientists.
that's our goal. So
Crunching
by
numbers.
the end of this podcast, we want to have in our demographic list, we want to have at least some percentage from Antarctica. That's a new.
Well, let's just say all 7 continents.
Sure, we'll do that.
Yep. And we're already fucking marching forward.
We're in there. But yeah, thanks guys for listening.
Incredible.
We're going to keep punching out content for you. So, but yeah, back to pipe. So we've touched on the forecast not looking great before our little ramble off there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all good.
We
love it. So forecast not looking great. We've picked our fantasy teams, but we actually haven't. When you pick your fantasy team, it doesn't really sort of give you an indication of who you actually think is going to win, because you're just going, here's 8 people that I think are going to do well. I'm not picking a winner from this. I'm just picking 8 crew. So we're going to go into, for both of us now, who our winner is, and then we're going to pick one dark horse each for both the men and women's side. Do you want to lead us off? Do you have your crew in mind, or do you need to have a think?
No, you go first, because
Right.
I'm tossing up 3.
Okay, so my my winner is John. I don't think that's too big a bridge to cross, is it?
Fuck, it'll be cliche and kind of shit in my opinion.
If he wins.
Nothing against him. It's
Yeah.
just, it's all been about John. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't really agreed what he's been doing the last couple of weeks.
Well, that again, touched on that before. Like, he had a long time to decide on what his plans were.
I'm telling you, that email was in the fucking junk box
Yeah.
of his emails. He's probably got 100 people trying to get a slice of his time, and then he forgot.
Yeah, they must have had some sort of agreement where he was like, "Look, I'm not going to surf this year, but I do want to be in pipe." So I imagine that was all part of it, and they would have just gone, "Here's a wild card."
At what point do you say no? Come surf with us. You can't just fucking chop and choose, in my opinion.
Well, guess what? John did. So
Question.
you're gonna have to deal with it. Yeah.
I'll deal with it, and fuck, he's gonna prove me wrong, and I know he's a very nice guy, and who am I to
Yeah.
fucking speak from the couch of Lennox Head and write him off?
Yes.
Does he have to go back through the Challenger Series?
No,
Why?
because it's John Florence.
What? He's not injured.
He is not injured, but they have specialty wild cards that they gift. So
For the whole season.
we will get to pipe, I promise. Just going off on a
yeah.
tangent though.
That's good. Yeah.
So they have the WSL wild card, which they can give to. They could give it to you if they wanted to. They can give it to anyone.
Now
Yeah.
we're talking.
Yeah. So it's based on their own discretion. Whoever they want to give it to, they can give it to.
Yep.
So that's WSL wildcard. Generally, that's going to go to, in previous years, gone to Kelly Slater last year when he didn't qualify. The year previous. Got himself another little run on there. And then this year...
Only gets you to the cut, correct?
It will go to John. No, it gives you access to next year. So
Oh, right.
you get automatically back on for the following year. They also have an injury wildcard. So that will go undoubtedly to Gabriel Medina, which is... unfortunate for Crosby, he may find himself back on the Challenger, which is heavy because he did.
See, to me, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
John should not get that.
Well,
it's not fucking fair.
Nah, it's like you.
You can't say, "Hey, I'm here. This is the big league." I don't think they should have the power to do that.
Yeah. Well, again, he's done it, so fair play to him. But so Crosby could be the unfortunate one who finds himself back on the Challenger after putting in a very good rookie year on the tour. He was very impressive. He could be back on the Challenger, which I don't think he'll have any issues with in terms of... he's going to have issues with it, but I don't think he's going to have any issues getting back on. Unless they can formulate another form of wild card, or one that I'm not aware of, but currently my understanding is that's how they do it. They have one just designated one to whoever, and then they have an injury. And that's on both tours. So hopefully for Crosby, he can find his way back on. But back to pipe. So I'm going to do my winners, John.
Yep.
And then my dark horse is going to be Joel Vaughan. I think he's going to have a red hot crack. And I think he's going to, especially because it's going to be a lot of rights, it looks like. Yep. Obviously very good on his backhand. So I'm not discrediting his backhand at all. But I think he's going to have good showing here. I think he's going to be good. And then if it is turn into that running, or if it does turn into that running right sort of sandbar effect, he's going to punt too. So I'm happy to have him in as my dark horse. And then for my ladies, now that it's back to right, so you have your sort of the girls who they're always good out there. So your Katies, your Mollys, in the past it's been Moana. I don't know if she got a wild card this year, but those sort of three are right up there every year. I'm gonna just stick with Molly for that one. I think she's just gonna be really good. She's really good on her forehand. And then my dark horse is one of the rookies, Bella Kenworthy. So I don't know how she goes on her backhand.
I don't even know how she surfs, to be honest.
Yeah, no, she has a crack. There's some photos of her on her Instagram of her having a real go in some of the waves in the Mentawai.
Is that bad? That, I just actually couldn't tell you if she was a natural footer or a goofy footer.
No, because that's what I'm here for.
Right.
So she's my dark horse pick. I think she's gonna go all right. Have you thought about yours?
Yep.
Yep.
For the men's, I'm gonna stick with my fantasy, which is Griff.
You're gonna pick him for the win?
Yep.
Yep.
He's gonna be pissed off that his brother's not in it.
Yes,
He's
true.
gonna fly the flag for the Cola Bros.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the win, and the dark horse is gonna be Kelly. I'm almost
Mate,
feeling.
I'm not having that. I'm sorry, you can't have him as your dark horse. You cannot have Kelly Slater as your dark horse at Pipe.
And I see you're looking at this on face value. Google how old this motherfucker is, and tell me he's not a dark horse.
He won it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and look, he hasn't been doing squat since. He could have been sitting on a fucking lounge chair for the last 3 years. No one's seen him.
Okay, well, Zach with one of the just sookiest...
He could come out looking like Obi-Wan Kenobi from that Star Wars thing on top of the fucking hill, like looking like Jesus Christ himself. We have no idea.
You heard a theory about the old hair situation as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I heard he's getting hair again.
Did you?
Yeah,
Who
he was
told you?
spotted at the same place where Paul Fisher just got his.
Right.
In the waiting room.
Who told you this?
I can't reveal my sources.
Sure. Okay, that's
There's
to
a
be confirmed.
lot of balding men out there that
Yep.
are holding on, and I've got a couple friends that are in that process, and they said they saw Kelly Slater at the same place.
All right, sweet.
And it's not in Turkey, or sorry, Turkey Air now.
What? What's Turkey Air?
Don't you know about that?
No.
Turkey no more. Turkey Air is the official way to say Turkey now.
Sick, okay. Sweet.
And if you go on Google Maps, which I'm sure everyone will do now, if you zoom in on where Turkey is, it's actually, they've changed it on Google Maps and it says Turkey.
Sick. So, new segment, Zach's Facts.
Yep.
That's what we're running with now each week. Zach's
I heard Germany wanted to go back to Deutschland. Well,
Okay.
because they refer to it as Deutschland.
Sick.
So, anyway, back to Slater.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to come back with a full perm looking like Liam O'Brien at the WSL.
Lob Machado.
Yeah, Lob Machado.
Sick. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with your pick, but...
It's a fucking dark horse every day of the
Nah,
week.
sorry, it's not.
How old is he? 50?
He's 50-something, but it doesn't matter. But anyway...
What do you mean?
We're going to run with that.
Look, go down to your fucking local TAB room and look at the 50-year-olds and what they're doing and tell me that motherfucker's not a dark horse.
Sure. All right.
The
Well,
other 50-year-olds are betting on horses and smacking 54x goals while talking in their concreting pants.
Kelly's riding horses.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's a dark horse every day of the fucking week. Women's.
Yeah.
I am going to go Gabriella Bryan
As your
as the win.
winner.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. Just feeling it.
Yep.
And I think for the dark horse, I'm going to go Tyler Wright.
I'm not happy with your dark horses at
Well,
all.
she's not in the last bit of limelight.
So you're picking Tyler.
Finley,
Wright.
they're all on tour, might I add. They can all surf.
All right. Sure. Nah, look, that's better
Okay,
than...
is Tyler Wright in your fantasy team?
Nah.
And you're not telling... Oh, mate.
I like that more than your Kelly Slater pick, though. I feel like she's more of a dark horse than Kelly Slater. Sweet. So, yeah, there's our picks. Again, slightly different our fantasy teams, as in, like, it's not the same sort of thing. We actually are designating a winner there, so we'll stay tuned with that. Hopefully, one of us can pick a winner.
It
and
all
sort of,
depends on the swell.
yeah.
And do you know where there is swell?
Where?
Nazaré.
Yes. Nazare. There's a pretty significant blob heading that way, isn't there?
We just had a look before. It's 20 to 25 feet, and it's 18 seconds.
And that's on the forecast. So, like, that's back to our little rant on face measurements and back measurements.
Oh, yeah, sorry for the Hawaiians. They probably didn't understand that.
We'll
put some subtitles.
It's actually
for you guys.
4 foot Hawaiian.
Yeah,
the
4 foot
forecast.
Hawaiian.
But no, they so how that looks in that little sort of peninsula there, or whatever it is, the big lighthouse sort of jets out into the ocean there. And
It's one of the deepest oceans, like literally 400 meters off the coast.
for
there.
sure, and it comes into such shallow water, and it just has that full refraction effect. And where you might have, say, like a 25-foot wave or swell coming, that wave could double in size. It could be a 50-foot face by the time it reaches there. We did have a little sort of chat about this before, though, and
This one's not going to make.
we're
This
both.
one's going to make some enemies.
Well, maybe. I feel like there'd be a lot of people that would share the same sentiments as us. Not a big fan of Nazare in general, just watching.
Do you know what it looks like?
What?
Someone just riding a wave that looks like the Great Pyramids of Giza.
It's like someone like, when
Like
you go
if they're
to
on
a
a
desert.
fucking potato sack just skidding down the Great Pyramids of Giza. That's what it looks like.
It's like on a
And
desert and,
yeah.
there's you're riding the sandboards down.
Yeah.
It's like that down a sand dune. It's pretty much the same as that.
Yeah, I don't... Fuck. Again, we are sitting on the couch just fucking worrying on the internet. And we surf waves that are 6 foot thinking we're fucking Ross Clark Jones. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to agree it's pretty basic to watch.
And yeah, like I don't want a piece of that. I don't want anything to do with that wave. It looks scary.
Well, they're not... Again, I feel so criminal for saying this. They're not getting barreled. They're not doing a turn.
No.
And now they're doing backflips on straps off the back.
Kyle-
And that's like the new thing now.
Kylan, he's rolling in, getting towed in, and he's doing like 3 chop hops on his way down the face. Because it takes you a good 10 seconds to reach the top of the wave to the bottom. It's that slopey, and he's just throwing down chop hops.
I'm calling it one of the shitter parts of surfing since foiling was introduced.
Sure.
I just can't see this going any further.
Yeah.
And like Lucas Chumbo, like fucking me, man, he charges.
Yeah.
But watching him do, I don't know.
It's
trying
wasted.
to-
It's wasted there. It's a waste of not time, but he is an absolute maniac. And you see him at Jaws, you see him at Mavericks, you see him any of those big wave locations which have a bit of shape to him. He's a nutter, and he's getting pitted. Whereas like you go to Nazareth, it's like, bro, I know you can do that. Like you're literally,
It's just a bit weird.
yeah. And I said it before. I don't want a piece of that. It looks terrifying for me. I don't want to go out when it's 25 foot or 50 foot faces or whatever. I don't want to be anywhere near that. But for as a spectacle, it doesn't make for the best viewing. You might watch it. You might watch it once and go, oh, that's pretty sick. But then they're doing events there. You keep coming back. Like I haven't even watched the last couple of events they've run there just because it's hard to watch.
It is. It's repetitive.
There's 30-minute lulls. Then it'll be 4 waves. They'll be pretty big. But then once those are gone, it's another 30-minute lull.
But the shape of the wave for me is horrendous.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally a triangle.
Well, they measure. You can't like. They're going for like the world's biggest wave there because it's a venue where it could happen, just the way the geography of that whole area is.
That makes sense.
With like the big trench there and then into the shallower water. It's a place where waves can get really tall, and they're going at that wave because you could potentially have your first 100-foot wave in there. Whether or not they've had that already, it's a really difficult wave to measure because the bottom of the wave, it never actually really has a bottom. It just seems to keep going and going until eventually it's like a level. It's not like say a top to bottom wave where there's a definitive, like you're at the bottom of the wave now. Like it's really difficult to measure. So I don't know. It's a tough watch, and it kind of leads you to big wave surfing, like for sort of casual onlookers to surfing. Big wave surfing, they think that's the mecca of surfing. They go, oh, like he's riding big waves, like that's crazy. And I see it in the surf shop all the time. Like people come in and to them, surfing is all about who can ride the biggest wave, not who's doing the best tricks or whatever. But why is it so like, if for surfing, because it's a surfing market. Really, the only people that are watching surfing are surfers. If they want to expand that to the broader audience, I think big wave surfing is a good way to do it because for those people, they're just like, what is he doing? Like that looks terrifying. It looks like he'll probably die if he falls off that wave. But then like for us, like what we've just said, we're not really that keen on it. So like, why is there no money being thrown into that? Why do you reckon that is?
Well, it's boring as batshit.
Yeah, but like if they're trying to entice another sort of demographic of people which may not have been to the beach before, like anyone can appreciate someone riding a big wave. Like even you or I, we've just written it off, but like it takes a lot of balls to go out and do what they're doing. But for the layperson, they're seeing that as like that's their pinnacle of surfing, and like maybe that's a way to bring an audience in.
I think the difference here is in the flesh riding the wave versus watching it online is two different worlds.
For sure.
You're right. If you fall off there, you could possibly die. But watching it, you don't get that sense.
No.
Obviously, if you're a surfer and you're a good enough surfer, you do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't think the novice watcher is really appreciating the true potential of harm there.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. Whereas if you had an event at ours or something like that, you've got the rock shelf. I don't know. It just feels more big wave scary in my opinion because there's so many elements to it. That slab in Brazil, it's like almost fucking unsurfable, and people are surfing like that's. I feel like if you've never even watched surfing, you're probably going to be more. I don't even know what the word I'm trying to think of. Engaged in that for an hour's time than Nazare for an hour.
It just like that was kind of my point. Like, so for the layperson, like big wave surfing is sort of where they seem to pick up on it and go, oh, that's incredible. Like maybe not necessarily discounting Nazare, but you go to Jaws, they do like the Piahi Challenge or the big wave event there. There's Mavericks 2, which has had events run there in the past. They are waves of consequence, both of them. That's where you go. You go from Nazare to Jaws, and you'd ask anyone, like, where would they be more scared to surf? And it's Jaws every day of the week because you actually could die out there.
Than Nazare?
Then where would they be more scared to surf? Yeah, than Nazare.
You reckon?
I think for sure they'd be more scared to surf Jaws.
Fair enough.
It's like, pretty much, it's like, on its day, it can look like backdoor at Pipe, but dead set 50 foot.
Yeah, I guess that part for sure. I just thought...
Are you more referring to like the size and then like the proximity to the cliff as well? Is that...
No, but I think they get washed in the beach rather than the cliff.
Kai Lenny nearly hit the cliff the other year. Yeah, you can actually get washed.
Probably going left, right, and then did a sushi roll or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Just it's a no from me. Sorry for Nazare. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty bland viewership.
Yeah. Look, Nazare, same for me. I think there's merit though in maybe having some the WSL maybe throwing a bit more bicky at your events such as your Jaws and your Mavericks for when they do those things, because I think whereas like you or I will watch that when Jaws is on and it's cooking, like we'll tune in for sure. But then I think
Waimea.
And Waimea as well, like you will tune in, but then like when it's pumping, you know, like I feel like you'd get another audience as well that aren't they're sort of outside of surfing and they're like on looking in. I think that's a place where maybe you could look to expand surfing and throw a bit of money at, because what they're doing is nuts. Like they're all maniacs. Every one of them has got a screw loose, and I think I feel like they should be rewarded a bit more for what they're doing, because they're putting their life on the line. Because they're not just showing up and surfing on those days. They're surfing those waves all year round. Like they're actively hunting petrifying waves, like just waves that make you shake in your boots. They're doing that all year. They're risking their lives, and it's probably like we touched on. It's a part of surfing that could get more onlookers than just your standard like competitive surfing or free surfing. Yeah,
but the whole thing with surfing in both worlds, but more so in the big wave scene, is it's like going to a basketball match where timeout goes for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'm with
Who the fuck wants to go there?
Yeah.
You've got LeBron there, you're sweet, you purchased your ticket, and they call timeout and 40 minutes goes past and then they play 10 seconds of game.
Sure.
That's unfortunately what big wave surfing has more than competition surfing. Like you said, lulls can be 45 minutes.
For sure. And that, like I said, I haven't really factored that in as well. Like when
it's
you get
so
those
hard to market,
those long interval swells, which you need to get a wave that big,
yep.
You also have long periods of time where it's dead. Like there'll be waves rolling through, but they're not looking at them. They're breaking way underneath them. They're sat out waiting for the big ones, and they're not breaking there for 40 minutes at a time. So
but I think we probably shouldn't say any more, because me and you are definitely not big wave surfers.
No, I'm not. You've got some claim to it.
Not at all. I've never surfed any of these locations.
I definitely haven't.
I bodyboarded the Waimea Shorey with my brother when I was 14.
Sick.
That was pretty wild.
Yeah, right. And like, so that also lends itself to like expanding surfing. Like, have we peaked? So not from like your big wave market, because there's always going to be people chasing bigger waves, and there's always there's always a bigger wave coming. You don't know when it's coming, but
Yep.
that's another storm appears. It looks bigger than the last one. You're going to chase it. So
How many
not in that
days? Sorry to jump in.
Yeah.
How many times do you reckon the best wave of the day is at night?
Yeah, I often think about this.
Imagine
A
if
lot.
we could tap into night surfing more, and you could double the potential.
Well, like your pumping day at Pipe, like if it's offshore at midnight, it's still spitting 6 to 8 foot barrels
While
lefts
we're
and rights
sleeping.
while you're sleeping. Probably some of the better waves you've seen because you're cutting out half the day. Like in a 24-hour period, for the sake of the argument, say it's dark for 12 hours, you're losing half of it. So it's
Maybe,
it's a good
Oakley
point.
can come out with some like night vision.
Yeah, you'd need some shark
Goggles.
deterrent technology as well, though,
I
because
think in some parts of the world,
the ones that true,
I wouldn't be
guess.
doing it around here.
I wouldn't be doing it around here. I also probably wouldn't do it at Pipe either. They get some pretty large tiger sharks floating around out that way. But yeah, back to the have we peaked? It's hard to see where people are going to go from here. I don't know how you can improve on what we've got. So you got people doing backflips now pretty regularly.
Yep.
You've got people doing full rotations pretty regularly. All different things, but we haven't seen a new trick in God knows how long.
Well, you see them in the pool, but you just don't see them in the wild. Not the wild, in competition.
Yes, for sure. But then also like they kind of do, but you've kind of seen them now. Like
Yeah.
people have been those tricks have been thrown down. Like you got your maybe like a finger flip. Zeke's been throwing down a few of those, which are different. I don't
True.
know how useful they are and how like they look pretty hard to do. I don't know how they'd score in a competition if you did one. But yeah, like I don't know. Are we limited in what we can achieve on a surfboard? Do you think it's the equipment? Do you think
No,
it's...
we're only just scraping the iceberg here as I get another cold beer out
I
of
haven't
the
even
little
touched
fridge.
mine. I'm gonna swap it.
You're gonna swap it for a coldie?
Give me a coldie.
Yep, smart. I don't think we're even close to that era yet of what's around the corner, in my opinion.
Okay.
For example, I think we need to look at what's happening in other action sports.
Yep.
Our brothers and sisters in the snow
Sure.
and skate world.
Yep.
What they're doing is incredible in competition. We are lacking.
Mm-hmm.
We are falling so far behind. And I think it's partly to blame for the harsh judging of it at times.
Yep.
I get some things don't score as high, but if something's hard to do, in my opinion, it needs to be rewarded.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, if it's fucking hard, then you have to pay it.
Yeah.
If you look at a golden nugget, you could find one that's jagged and what looks like fucking shit, but if it's heavy,
Yeah.
it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it looks like, but if it's hard to find,
Yeah.
then it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, turns out, if you ask the top 34 surfers to do a pop shove it, do you reckon that, on first go, I'm talking, like first go, you have to land it?
I reckon there's 10 to 15 guys that could do it.
But it gets you, they're fucking taking points off.
Yeah.
If you did that at pipe at the end of a huge barrel, it went from a 10 to a 9.
Sure.
Why?
Yeah.
I actually don't understand it. Why? And I'm not saying a pop shove it deserves to be a 10, but there's merit in it.
Yeah.
Why have we got this? And that's what is sealing surfing, in my opinion.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Well, like, the pop shove is a weird one because you're not. I think a pop shove it done off the lip,
Like a
if you-
varial.
like a varial, is that will get rewarded. But when they do them out of a pit or whatever, or they're going across the face of the
Yeah,
wave,
but what's it worth?
it's
Throw a
worth
number.
0. But
But if you can't do it,
I know.
then how's it a 0 in
I
my
don't
opinion?
know.
But look, what I'm trying to say is, and build a bit of case here, is when you give it a low score,
Yep.
why the fuck would you do it again?
Well, and that's it. Like, they kind of phased out the Superman air because, like, you do a Superman air on tour now, you're getting you're topping out like a 5.
Yeah.
They hate him.
Yeah, I think Troy Brooks and
Geordie Smith
have tested the waters there,
The
and
froggy.
that's been a controversial discussion for the ages.
Yeah.
Why don't they get, scored higher than what they do? And look, I'm not saying that all these moves need to be, high up on the scale.
Yeah.
But you need to acknowledge that without actually re-looking at them,
Yeah.
there's not going to be any growth.
No.
For example, someone X Games in the Snow just finished up in Aspen,
Yeah.
and someone did they have knuckle huck, which is like, it's not off a proper established jump, it's off the round piece of the big jump, of the landing.
Yeah.
And they just go off that, and they huck whatever they can. Someone did a triple front flip off a knuckle huck, which, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, that's fine. It's fucking insane is what it is.
Yeah.
Someone just landed a 2340.
How many rotations is that?
It was 6.5 with a melon grab.
Right.
Hiroto from Japan just nailed that in competition.
Is it? But back to the equipment thing? Do you think do you think that's possible on a surfboard?
Definitely, because look at the shit what's happening in the wave pool. Zeke doing Superman finger flip, I think it was.
Yeah.
Zeke's not the best surfer in the world.
No. He's
Then
just trying it a lot.
John could probably do that.
Yeah.
Why aren't they doing that? Because it doesn't score, even if you are going to fucking land it.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know what the magic syrup is here, but something needs to change where John and Philippe and all those innovators feel comfortable and they feel like they can actually risk it to bring those aspects, the pool aspects I'll call them for now,
Yep.
into the Rashi.
And that's an interesting point. Like, so you go from, so we don't have on tour right now, like designated, like this is where you get barreled. This is where you do your combinations. This is where you know what I mean? Like, but they are there. So they're not, we don't go to pipe and go, oh, you have to get barreled. Like they still score you if you do an air, but
Fucking rarely.
they just, you pretty well do an air.
It's brutal.
You cut it in half pretty well. What it would get in a
and
beach
it
break.
pisses me off every year.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like because pipe, you hear all the top air guys talking about it. They love pipe as an airwave. They say it's one of the best airwaves in the world.
Well, it's a section coming back at you.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is ideal.
yeah. And like, I don't know. Is there merit in having a tour where you have your barrel event, then you have you sort of combinate. So like the same setup as they've got, but then you have one of the tour stops be at Waco or something like that.
Yep.
And you're only getting scored if you're doing an air, because it sounds weird and it's so untraditional, if that's a word. I don't think it is. But it's so far out of what we're used to, but it kind of makes sense in a way, because you go, like you just touched on, all the different disciplines of like snowboarding, like knuckle huck, like that's an event in itself where you're just pretty much just sending yourself as hard as you can off a jump and land it, and
So
you're going to win.
Yeah, in the snow, you've got half pipe, you've got slope style,
Yep.
you've got big air,
Yep.
knuckle huck,
Yep.
all the same fucking contest.
Yep.
I think WSL is in urgent need of a restructure.
I think it works. Like it sounds weird, and people are probably yelling at me through their TV screens right now or through their phone, but I reckon it makes sense because, like I said, they're not designated barrel events, but they are, because you're not getting scored unless you're doing anything else. So aerial surfing is becoming more and more of a thing. Mm-hmm. Why not have an event where you're rewarded for doing that type of surfing?
Well, what you're saying, it makes sense. And look, pipe, chopes, somewhat cloud break, depending on the forecast.
Yep.
They can all be barrel events.
Yep.
If you put a designated aerial event in somewhere.
Yeah.
But having none and then saying, oh, fuck off, you did a full rotation to the flats and it's at pipe and it's scoring nothing, is just silly.
Yeah.
Because how is that any easier just because it's at pipe?
I know. It's not.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's like they're withholding a score in case of.
And you go like you make the argument say Ethan, someone like Ethan or someone like him who's amazing surfer, but they're not really well known for doing airs. And it's like, well, think of the other guys who are not as good as Ethan and they're on there. And it's like, you're saying it's not fair for Ethan to go and have to try airs in a wave pool, but then like in that same sentence, it is fair to ask them to go and get barreled and do turns, but like that's what they're good at. So why not give them a chance to showcase that? You'd have everyone watching it. It'd be sick. Stab do a great version
They do
of
a
that.
fantastic job.
They do stab high, where they just go free surfers, or I think occasionally they have comp surfers there, but they just go out in the pool and just land your best trick, and at the end of the day, whoever lands the best trick wins.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon that's sick. Like, have that as an aspect onto it. You will get so many people watching it, and it is such a big part of surfing now.
But it's rewarding innovation.
It is.
There
It's
is
pushing the
zero
sport.
reasoning to go out and push innovation at the moment because you're not going to be rewarded.
You can get your 7 or your 8 from surfing, picking a set and surfing it well to the end of the wave.
Yeah.
And they'll throw you a score. Whereas you could go do a big full rote on the first section, blow the rest of the wave, which people will look down upon. But it's arguably way hard. Well, not even arguably, it is. It's way harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're just throwing the wrist down all in the first maneuver, and at a longer point break like your sort of snapper or your J-Bay, they might not reward it as heavily as, say, you getting to the end of the wave. You're not really risking anything. You're just doing your stock standard carves and snaps and that all the way down the line you're finishing. Whereas like someone's just taken off on a set and gone absolutely loony on it, and they might get, say, like maybe a slightly reduced score or even the same score. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like they for the WSL to attract more of a viewership to the sport, which is obviously what they want. Like, me and you as surfers, we don't really care. We're just like, there's more people.
I think you'll find most of the viewership, if I was to speculate here, would be intermediate below.
People watching comps?
Yep.
Yeah, because you get to a point as well, a lot of the people that do comps, they actually don't like watching comps.
Yeah.
Much the same, like...
For that reason,
not
because
to
they're
say-
expecting world-class surfing and they're getting
Yeah.
it at times,
Yep.
but not for the majority.
For sure. Or like I'm a bit of a nerd, so I watch like a QS 1000 in, I don't know,
I do as well,
Huntington Beach.
but I'm just saying I'm feeling a decline in overall performance.
Yeah, it's just it's an interesting topic, I think, because like we have these venues where you're rewarding a certain style of surfing, but there's not a venue where you're rewarding airs, which is they're in all
Just theirs.
they're all the highlight clips. You see the WSL posting their clips at the start of the year, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, like Gabby's just done a full row or a
Yeah.
backflip or something.
And this is where women's surfing's going at
Yeah.
the moment, so it's kind of a win-win for everyone.
For sure. Yeah.
And the one thing, I think it should be in a pool,
yeah.
because it's every section's the same.
Mhm.
You can fill a pool. You can sell tickets.
Yep.
You can brand it way better.
Yep.
Fucking loud music playing, beers are flowing, everyone's having fun. It's like a skate jam.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Yep.
And now that we've got places that we can do that, I think it's crazy that WSL aren't thinking outside the box here and doing specialty events. I'm not sure if when we were growing up, there was Boost Mobile
Yeah.
air shows.
Kersey.
On the Gold Coast. They had fucking FMX on
Yeah.
the beach, people doing backflips on motorbikes, big, event, bands, everything. And they had jet skis whipping people in to do airs.
Yeah.
And that was a huge event. And
People would come through and surf on the tour through those. Like Kersey ended up on the tour after
I think Owen won one.
making his name as an aerialist in those surfers.
Yep.
Like he qualified after, and he had a great stint on tour. He was
Where's all the specialty events?
Dunno.
They're all the fun shit.
Yeah.
I did an event when I was a bit younger, Arnett Roulette.
yeah.
So it was sponsored by Arnett Eyewear, and you would spin a wheel before you heat, and it had different airs on it,
Yeah.
and whatever it landed on was double points.
Right.
Fortunately for me to make a heat at Burleigh Heads in subpar conditions, it landed on chop hop.
Sick. Frothing. Did you land
I
one?
did a chop hop.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Sick.
And I made my first heat and then got rinsed after that. But that's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's exciting from novice to advanced. So for me, WSL, if you're listening, pull your fucking finger out of your bottom and fucking start doing some fun shit for us, because we're sick of the fucking meat and potatoes shit you got going on now.
And like, how funny, like, just on the other side of the spectrum, you might have someone that's not as good as theirs. I don't even know who I'd name, like, not that he's on tour anymore, but like, say a Wade Carmichael or someone was still there at this air event. You're going to be just as likely to watch his attempt as you are to watch Yago Dora's
Exactly.
attempt. Because it's going to be hilarious either way. If he sticks one, it's
Oh, but
the funniest thing in the world.
I think those events would be like, oh, that guy I didn't think was an air guy.
Yeah, they'll surprise. Maybe Wade's
Because
a
you know
crazy
what?
air guy.
They're all out there going, fucking, oh, I don't have the courage to actually try something that I'm not very good at, because there's no platform for it.
And they don't need to, because they've qualified their whole surfing life
Exactly.
through doing their meat and potato surfing. they've gotten to the quarterfinals,
Uh-huh.
semi-finals of however many events they needed to do, and they've gotten to it, and that's all they did.
I think I said this in the last episode where Bronson's surfing at World Juniors was crazy.
Yep.
The step up from that is the Challenger Series.
Yep.
We had people like Joel Vaughan doing huge punts, Marco doing big punts, and then they get to the tour and everything is just ceilinged.
Yep.
I don't understand why. So you've got Groms now outperforming in the innovation sense, not
For
as
sure.
in an overall surfing sense.
Yep.
But innovation is much more prominent in younger events, younger age demographic events,
Yep.
and less prestige.
Yep.
Because they feel comfortable to do it.
Well, there's no pressure on them. That's the they don't like.
But there's no pressure at the tour because there is nothing more.
Yeah. True.
So I just think WSL need to do something quick, smart to fix this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, someone will. And you've already got other events out there now. We've got the introduction of natural selection in surfing now.
Yeah.
That turned a lot of heads. We're yet to see the footage from that. They've actually kept it under wraps.
And do you know much about that event?
I do.
Do you want to talk, just because I'm not super clued in, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that aren't as well. What is it?
Yep. So natural selection is Travis Rice's creation. So Travis Rice
Snowboarder.
is one of the most prominent figures in snowboarding and
Yep.
freestyle.
Yep.
He definitely went down like the X Games route. Did really well, but then kind of went, fuck, there's nothing better than just a helicopter dropping me off at some top
Yeah.
of some peak and me riding it down. So he created an event where it's exactly that for snow,
Yep.
skiing and snowboarding. So it's like a freestyle event.
Right.
So it's not like your super, it's pretty much here's a canvas. Whoever paints the best canvas wins. There is certain criteria, but it's not super defined.
Yeah.
It's open to interpretation. It's the most creative way to get from point A to point B.
Right.
They've just introduced it into mountain biking and surfing. Sorry, BMX and surfing.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. So they've just held an event in Micronesia. They had a 1 month waiting period, so they could choose great waves. And I'm not an expert on it, but it sounds like it's the same format.
Right.
There's heats out there,
Yep.
surf, whoever has the most creative waves wins.
Right.
And I think it could potentially break the internet because they're doing something different here. No live stream. Building anticipation.
And then they're going to do
and
like
then
a...
buy the viewership after.
Right. Interesting.
Although I think this will be free on Red Bull TV.
For the first one.
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
But what it's doing is, Finley, and I think we're going to see this as of this point in time, moving forward into history,
Yep.
shooting events away from the public.
Yep.
Cameras are on,
Keep it
lots
low-key.
of cameras.
Yep.
Everyone's on NDAs or whatever that agreement is. You can't fucking say this, you can't show that until we blast it, because then you know you've just cut out the 45-minute lull.
Yep.
You've just cut out someone paddling and
Yeah.
pulling back.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 hours of content that's fucking bang, 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 and you go, where can I watch that again and pay again?
Yeah.
I
And-
think that's the future.
And in a world now as well where, like, we've noticed on our Instagram as well, like, we've been posting reels and just tinkering with a few things, and it's so vital to have that quick sort of transition into exactly what you're
Well,
talking
that's
about.
what we're programming the next generation
Yeah.
to be, is fucking dopamine robots.
For sure. So it's like you need that dopamine hit straight away to stay engaged with it.
And it used
And-
to be a minute, now it's like 15 seconds thanks
Yeah.
to TikTok.
Yeah, and they're,
TikTok's ruined it
it's
for
like
everyone.
they're adapting that to surfing, and I think
Yep.
WSL might have to, I don't, like, not straight away, but if this is a success, as you're sort of saying it should be, like, you could have a few eyeballs turning that way rather
And
than at
this
the
isn't
WSL.
a new thing. It is for surfing, but they've been smashing it in the snow scene for a long time.
Yep.
Natural selection has been almost as big as the X Games kind of in prestige.
Yep.
Because they only handpick the best of the best.
Right.
And what they do is they pick, in surfing translation, CT guys and free surfers.
Right.
I don't think they can because WSL has a cock handle on everyone on the CT right now. You can't even do a fucking Lee-bar event.
You can't do a podcast as well.
You
which
can't do a podcast.
we'll-
I don't think everyone knows
No,
about
but
that.
we'll keep that. We'll just keep that in the back
Keep
pocket.
that under the lid. We'll do a
Yeah.
little.
We might go.
We'll
into
bring
it
him
later.
on as a.
No, I reckon we just leave it in the airways and
Yeah.
just let it go.
It
But
was,
yeah,
it was Edgar Grogier.
It's
No, I'm
groggy.
kidding. But yeah, so WSL has a hold on those athletes. But what it does is they pick the best of the best.
sure.
and it's fucking exciting to watch, and
Well,
that's it.
Isn't that what you'd want to watch, really? Surfing, the best surfers in the best waves. It seems like a bit of a recipe.
None of the bullshit in between.
Bit of a recipe for success.
It
But anyway, guys, we will leave it there. We've been going for about an hour again, so we're getting there. We're getting through.
If you've listened this far,
yeah.
thank you.
Thanks for listening through all the dribble. Follow us on @the Largo Podcast on Instagram, and again, join our fantasy league because there is prizes. We've said this before, but there will be prizes. We're not saying what they are yet.
Yeah.
Partly because we don't actually know what they are, but they will be sick.
We haven't got any, but we will because now we've said it on camera. We have to.
Well, yeah, like there's going to be prizes. They're going to be sick, so you're going to want to be a part of that. Join. League name, the Largo Podcast. Password Largo, all in caps.
Yep.
Thank you very much. We will see you next week. Bosh.
Bon voyage.
See you later.